Hey, GW coming to you live. First of all, before I do any movie reviews, I just wanted to say thank you to all the military, armed forces, Marines, and everybody else who kept our country safe and continues to do so. So happy Memorial Day to everybody, and I hope everybody has a safe Memorial Day. And watch out for cops because they're out there. Um, Now we're going to jump into the movie reviews. But, first movie I watched yesterday, I didn't get a chance to do a review on it because I was pulled into cleaning rooms and doing some housework, taking advantage. Was called Pledge Night, and it's from 1988, and Vinegar Syndrome put it out. Now, you probably have not heard about this movie unless you're an Anthrax or a very deep horror fanatic. That is because this film kind of flew in up under the radar, actually. It's directed by Paul Ziller. And basically, what it's about is a fraternity who loves to pull pranks. And again, before I even go into this is probably a movie you will not see on TV, broadcast television. You will probably not see on most cable channels. It might end up finding a home on Shudder. But this film is pretty damn raunchy, gory, and it is 1988, so there's a lot of, topless, sexual activity going on there. It's pretty wild. But basically, back to the story. What it is that this fraternity who loves to pull pranks is now engaged in Hell Week. During Hell Week, one of the participants is informed that a couple of decades earlier, somebody was trying out for the fraternity in Hell Week and actually got killed. You guessed it, the spirit of this guy comes back to pretty much kill everything. And this is a pretty damn gory movie, I'm not going to lie. I was not expecting the level of gore to be as crazy as it was, but I mean, we have impalements, we have all kinds of stuff in here. Now, the reason I said that the one thing that makes this film notable, as I did say, or maybe forgot to say, was that Joey Belladonna from the group Anthrax is in it. And I believe he plays Sid. Sid, I think, is the killer in this film. But it's pretty wicked. It's a cross between Animal House and Friday the 13th. And when you hear those two combinations, you go, well, that could either be good, very stupid, or very bad. This one was an okay movie, and I say that because it doesn't look like it had a big budget. It really didn't. Music, again, is provided by Anthrax, so that's why I said if you're a big Anthrax fan, you might want to check this out. I don't know much about them. I know they were pretty hard rockers, so check them out. And like I said, the story was actually pretty good. The acting was A to B movie level, depending on the level of the character. But there is a lot of surprises in here. The ending pretty much got me. I didn't see this coming. So check out Pledge Night. It's an okay slasher. I really dug it. And, when you look at it, especially when you look at the cover, you go, this movie's going to suck. Or if you're a kid with a maniacal sense of humor, you're going to say this movie is awesome because it has and I'm not lying, on the cover of the Blu-ray, it has a picture of a toilet with a hand coming out of it holding a banana going like this. Some people will flock to see that movie just based on the cover art. But again, not a bad film. Very raunchy, very throwback to the TNA era, and very gory. And it was in the middle of the slasher boom. So definitely check it out. Second film I want to talk about is from 1998. And I'm talking John Carpenter's Vampires here. John Carpenter, obviously, is pretty much a well-known master in the horror field. He's done The Fog. He's done Halloween, obviously. He did Christine, just to name a few. This movie is pretty intense, and it's a departure from his earlier work. It's a much more adrenaline-fueled tale, and it concerns the character of Jack Crow, played by James Woods. Jack and his group are vampire slayers, and basically they go around New Mexico and they hunt vampires. They get intertwined with a master vampire that they were hunting in the beginning called Valak. Valak is in search of a black cross. Question is, will he get the cross? Will he use the cross? Will he be able to walk in daylight? Well, not if Jack Crow has anything to say about it. Now, the one thing that makes this film kind of wild is it throws a shade on the traditional vampire movies. This is a much more hyper, hipper, cooler, and brasher version of the vampire tale. It also concerns betrayals in the Catholic Church, and so on and so forth. If you haven't seen this thing is pretty wild. What makes it entertaining is the character of Jack Crow himself. A very smart-assed, sort of take no prisoners, aggressive, in-your-face type vampire hunter. His partner, Stephen Baldwin, character, I forget his name, played by Stephen Baldwin. They are on a team. I wish I knew Stephen Baldwin's name, and I just watched the movie and I was so intent on doing this Pledge Night review. But also rounding out the cast is Sheryl Lee Fenn, and I think Maximilian Schell played the character of Valak. Now, traditionally, kill a vampire, you put a stake through its heart. What's exactly what you do in this film. Only they have a pretty cool system. They shoot them with a crossbow and they winch them out through doors into the sunlight to burn up. And it's very creative and it's fun to watch. But it's definitely interesting. And I remember catching this movie on DirecTV. Like I said, we got channel 129 for free. And I remember checking it out. Very cool, very hip, and definitely under 2 hours. And this is you could classify this movie as a hypered up horror film. You could classify it as a buddy picture with vampires. But the one thing too, the performances, like I said, James Woods' performance is pretty awesome. Sheryl Lee's performance as a prostitute who's bitten, who has a psychic link to Valak, is pretty awesome. She plays all kinds of spectrums, and it's pretty awesome. The acting was not that bad. You'd figure from Carpenter it's either going to be weird, crazy, or out there, or just right. This thing is just right, I'm telling you. The only thing that I would have to say negatively about the film is it did spawn a sequel called Vampires Les Muertos. I have not seen that film, and if you go into IMDb and you look up all these websites, it only has half a star or 1 star, or people say the movie sucks. The only notable thing about that movie, as is in Pledge Night, it stars a famous musician, Jon Bon Jovi. I've seen bits and pieces, and it really didn't look like anything that I would want to put my attention to, but it did look like a rehash of the first film. So definitely check those 2 films out. Those are my picks for this weekend. Trying to think of what else. There was something else I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah. The shooting in Uvalde. I want to talk about that for a minute. Very, very rarely do I get on here and speak of news stories or things in the world, especially political things, because I don't want my opinion to sort of start a war with other people who have different opposing opinions. So I really don't comment on this, but I do want to comment on shootings. You know, a lot has been said about what happened, and if it were me, I'd be wondering, like I said, why it took the police so long to get there. I would also be wondering why that school wasn't guarded in the first place. Then I would look around and then I would ask, why did this happen again? It's one thing, it's bad enough, grown up people get killed, but then kids get killed, and your heart really goes out to all the families. And the girl on the news last night, when I was watching the special report on Channel 11, she has it right. No words can say or sort of, take some grief away. Nothing, no words in this world can ever do justice to what happened. And I think it's a terrible tragedy. I know that my neighbor's got kids, Danny, and we watch them all the time. And the funny thing is that even though you're not directly, like they're your mom or dad, the neighbor kid, Danny, his kid comes over, his one son comes over to me every day and goes, hi neighbor, hi neighbor. And after a while, you develop a sort of mild connection. And my other neighbor, Tyler, God forbid anything happen to him, and it really makes you think about how precious, not only friendships are, but life is, and how much you connect with people even though they're not, related to you, and it's a very, very bad tragedy. And I hope that one day I can wake up in a world where there's no more mass shootings and there's no more, there's no more questions. I mean, I just want the violence to stop. And I know right now people are going, well, Greg, all you do is watch horror movies. You watch tons of that shit. Yeah, well, here's the thing, guys. Movies are pretend. I've watched so many horror films on here. I've done so many reviews, and never once have I acted violently, or never once have you seen me get in trouble, or never once have I said, you know what, I want to do this today, and that, no. Because I know that world is all pretend. And that's what's fun about it. It's pretend. You jump in a horror movie for an hour and a half, you jump out of it, you're back to reality. But never in my life would I ever act violently because of some movie or a song. Because I was not raised that way, guys. I was raised that those things you don't do. You just don't, And I know I'm getting off on a rant here, but I just think the whole mass shooting thing, I think it's getting sick. I think it's getting out of control. And I think somebody, and I don't care who, needs to do something about it before more innocent people get killed. And I really don't know what else to say about that. And then you see these kids on the news, and these parents, and you just realize it hits you once again how precious life really is and how screwed up this world is, where people can just bust into a school and go off like that, and it makes me sick, but again, I don't want to preach. I'm just telling you my opinion, guys, because I think the whole thing could have been avoided, and letting someone not responding when someone's in the classroom, letting off rounds, and just standing there and waiting isn't the answer. Neutralize as soon as possible. But I'm getting a little bit upset, so I'm gonna back off that topic. Because again, maybe there's things that we don't know as John Q. Public. Maybe there's things that, hey, we can't go in unless, which is a stupid rule anyway. But all I wanted to really say and bottleneck this up is that my heart goes out to those families. I know I've never met you, but we are I don't even know what to say about the tragedy. I think it's just stupid and it could have been avoided. So I hope that the town of Uvalde is able to move on in time and get back to where it was, and try to move forward. But anyway, guys, I'm sorry about that. Um, the other thing is that, yeah, I did mention earlier there is a lot of cops out, and just be careful if you're going somewhere. Keep the speed limit because they are around. We were in town the other day, and one of them followed me, and they just make you nervous. I mean, you didn't do nothing wrong, and they just make you a little nervous. So you just be cool, and I hope everybody has a great Memorial Day. And again, thank you to all the frontline, armed forces, military, Marines, Army. Thank you very much for everything that you do. And I really appreciate it. My wife really appreciates what you do for this country. On that note, just a little hint because I've been ranting and raving for about, I don't know, 15 minutes now. If you guys saw Top Gun Maverick, you can now pre-order the Blu-ray on Amazon.com. It's there. My wife found it. So that's what's cool. Is I told her, I said, wait for about a week when the movie opens, you'll be able to pre-order the Blu-ray, and that's exactly what happened. You can pre-order it, but again, it says unknown date. But if you really like the movie, and a lot of people do, based by the box office numbers, and I will review that the minute we get it, so don't worry about that. I kind of want to see how they're going to handle this. But anyway, yeah, you can pre-order Top Gun Maverick right now on Blu-ray, 4K, and all that stuff through Amazon.com. It's GW telling you, hey, have a happy Memorial Day. And again, I'm sorry I got on a rant about that. Sometimes I don't know how to address that stuff. When it's personal and it hits home like that. So anyway, next week we'll do another couple. GW. Peace.